questions and answers, yeah?
Yeah.
So just brush through each question like 5-7 minutes and brush through the next as much as you can.
Okay. To be honest, it's okay if I lean back like this, right?
It's fine.
Okay. To be honest, I wanted an outlet. I wanted somewhere to just let go, somewhere to just unburden, you know. I've always had big emotions based on some things I experienced from a young age, you know. So I just wanted somewhere to put those big emotions and not feel judged, not feel like I was being put into a box. And writing was that place for me, telling stories eventually, acting, producing, you know, it was that place where I could just get lost in the arts, get lost in the work, you know, and not feel judged, not feel condemned, not feel unappreciated. Just bury myself in there and commit myself to my work, commit myself to my art. So that was my reason. And yeah, it was heavily motivated by pain. My journey was heavily motivated by pain. I wanted to unburden, yeah. And it was a very good outlet for me. So yes, I started telling stories as a form of therapy. And eventually, it began to pay me. Honestly, my biggest challenge working in Nollywood has to be just dealing with sometimes being the youngest person to do something, or daring to step into bigger shoes, daring to dream bigger, patriarchy, sometimes misogyny, and also sometimes classism, sometimes ageism. Is that a thing? Is ageism a thing? Because I can't keep up with all the terms. Yeah. I'm trying to summarize everything so I don't talk too much. You know, I'm able to like articulate myself in a few words. To be honest, the biggest challenge is the fact that making good movies are expensive. Like making good movies is expensive, and not being able to capture your vision as fast as you want, or sometimes when you have that vision but you don't have the resources, that can also be a challenge, you know. I never really got back what I spent making Blind Dates, but I got it back in association. I got it back in recommendation. I got it back in the people who reached out to work with me because of blind dates. The people who reached out to continue to be of service to my project, because there are people who actually want to be in my project, you know, just because of blind dates and just because of the projects that I have made personally, because they felt connected to the story, and not just about not just about like a story being flamboyant, but just the story connecting to the heart. So the challenge sometimes is not when you're in a position where you cannot give everybody work. You know, when you have the kind of heart that even if you don't have enough, you still want to think about other people, and you still want to, you still wish that you could have enough jobs that everybody is sorted out. You know, that part of me that cannot stand to see people suffering or stand to see people out of jobs, even if I am out of a job, even if I was out of a job rather. You know, and the challenge is not being taken seriously by outsiders in outside Nollywood. When you tell people that you're an actress, or when you tell people that you're, oh, I'm a film producer, I'm an actress, I mean, people are like, oh wow, you know. But sometimes there's been some older generation of people that have wondered if I actually had a real job. You know, like, oh, you're an actress, okay. Oh, you're a producer, okay. How many movies have you made this year? Oh, what movie did you make? Where can I watch it? How much did you make for the movie? Okay, so what's your real job? Oh, okay. So it's just like not being taken seriously by some generations of people, you know. And sometimes dealing with the expectations of the younger generation, because it really reminds me of when I started. I also had that same level of expectation. I thought the people in Nollywood owed me something, you know. Like, I thought that people would be at my beck and call. I was entitled. Yes, I admit it. I was entitled. As a young filmmaker, I was entitled. You know, as a growing filmmaker, at some point I was also entitled. And it's not a good thing to be entitled, because it breeds laziness. It breeds self-doubt, because you don't believe that you have what it takes to grow your talent. You don't believe that you have something that somebody else can want, somebody else can desire. And when you don't feel that way, it's hard for you to point to other people. You know, it's hard for you to be properly positioned in places where you can offer, you know, value to other people. So you have to see the value that you have to offer if you want somebody else to see it. When I think from the top of my head, a couple of them. But this one, when I think about this one, I just feel like if you want to imagine the worst thing that can happen, it happened. Everything that I wished, I prayed that would not happen, it happened. You know, things scattered. You know, there was chaos. You know, there were budget delays. There were times when we were supposed to receive inflow, we did not receive inflow. You know, there were times when people would walk out of sets. You know, There were times when people cried to me and I knew that my hands were tied and there was nothing I could do. And because of that project, there are some people who I thought would never speak to me again. Yeah. And it's so beautiful, honestly. It's so beautiful, the journey. It was such a challenge, but when I think back at it, I just thank God that I had the opportunity to work on that project, because it really toughened me. It really taught me lessons, like I learned a lot of things during that project. I learned that ego is not the way. I learned that I'm not in control. I learned that God will always provide. And I also learned that you can't let yourself go. Not for anything, not for anyone. You have to remember who you are. You have to keep yourself together at all times. So yeah, it was the most challenging project I've ever been on, but it was also the project that taught me the most. What a question. To be honest, yeah, I used to feel like success was being a celebrity. Like I was out here to blow. I was out here to be a celebrity. Like I wanted to be the kind of person that I go anywhere, people are shouting, "Hey, Ezinne, we love you!" Ah! Like I wanted to be that girl, that it girl. Like that was what I wanted, Like I wanted to be that girl that was signing autographs. I wanted to be that girl that people were queuing up to see, I've always wanted to be that girl, to be honest, even though I did not always admit it to myself, but that was what I wanted. But if you ask me now, about 6-7 years later, right? Success for me, first of all, peace of mind. Peace of mind is success for me. Secondly, success is purpose. Success is tied to purpose. Success is tied to God's assignments. Am I working in that direction? Am I fulfilled? That is success for me. Success is being able to care for myself, care for my family, and be able to sleep well at night. Success is thinking about how I've made my money and not having a guilty conscience. Success is being happy and being joyful about the way I steward my finances, the way I steward my resources, the things that God has given to me, the way I steward them is success for me. Success is knowing who I am. Yeah, I'm basking in it every single day. Success is not joining the crowd, becoming more of me and less of the person who wants to prove something to somebody. So yeah, that is success to me. So yeah, this is not the end of my story. This is just like flipping through the book, to a different chapter. Like we're beginning a new chapter. I am beginning a new chapter. And yeah, that's all I have to say for now. My name is Ezinne Akam, and I am still becoming. See you in the next video.
Ezinne, thank you very much for your beautiful message and the advice. May God see through. Thank you, my dear.